Hey, what's up, VC? It's Steve again, Harmless Rebel, and it's time for another hard rock and heavy metal update. Let's just jump into it. First, in the background, with the new releases coming out of the Celtic Frost discography, I've just kind of been listening to a few of their albums here and there over the last couple weeks. In the background, we're listening to Monotheist. This was their kind of their comeback album from, I think, 2006. This is the deluxe edition. Just a killer industrial doom type of album. An album that I really ended up digging and really got me back into Celtic Frost. If you don't know it, check it out. So like I said, let's just kind of jump in. First up, this is one I've had for a couple months now. Just haven't gotten around to listening to. I've owned this before on CD, maybe on cassette. But this is one of those albums, and one of those bands in general, that I just never understood why they didn't get much bigger than they did. Such a great band, and I just don't think they get enough credit. But this is Battle Cry from Omen, kind of their debut masterpiece here. And this is a recent reissue. I think this was reissued last year from Metal Blade. They re-released all of their early albums. Highly recommend checking these out. Not only are they killer albums, the represses sound really good. This particular one is on, they call it reddish orange vinyl. Amazing album, though. If you've never checked out Omen, their debut here is a great starting point. And then that also comes with a poster of the artwork, and then on the B side of the back side of the poster, it's got the original the actual original drawing that this artwork came from, which is cool as well. These next two, I've been going through my records. I've talked about this before. I've got a lot of duplicates and stuff that's just not in that good a condition, and I'm slowly going through the collection and getting rid of. And I was going through the A's about a week ago, and got to Accept and just felt like listening to a couple of albums. So I ended up pulling out Kaizukuban. And this one, if you're not familiar with it, it's a live EP or mini LP, whatever you want to call it. 6 songs. I believe this was a Heart of Metal tour. It says on the back, what you hear is recorded in one take in Nagoya, Japan, September 19th, 1985. Absolutely no re-recordings or overdubs. Dedicated to the wildest fans in the world. And it's a really killer set. If you don't have this one and you're an Accept fan, I highly recommend checking it out. And then what was one of my favorite Accept albums for years, probably still is one of my favorites from them, is Metal Heart. So I ended up giving that another spin as well. Just a classic album there. Next up, just talking about more classic albums. I was at Second and Charles, at Half Price Books maybe 2 months ago. And they were having a sale. They were kind of clearing out some of their overstock. And they ended up having this for $9, and I couldn't grab it fast enough. This is the Friday Music repress of The Warning from Queensryche. Now, Friday Music usually does a really good job. And music-wise, they did do a good job. The cover, however, I don't know what they did. If they took a CD cover and blew it up, I don't know why they wouldn't have just taken one of the albums and done a direct copy from the album. But man, it just, the colors are off. It's just kind of fuzzy and out of focus. They just didn't do a good job on this cover. But the music sounds really good, and that's what's most important. My original copy of this is pretty scratched and beat up from all the love it's gotten over the years. So it's nice to have a really nice 180 gram version of it. Next up, Death, Human. I may have shown this when I got it. I don't remember. But again, I've talked about Human before. This is one of my favorite Death albums. This is kind of like the perfect blend of the death metal and then the more progressive route that they would take on future albums. And it just culminated into kind of this perfect album from Death. If you haven't checked this out before, highly recommend it. And again, these new Relapse pressings of the Death albums are the best pressings I've ever heard. I've heard original pressings, I've heard the Back on Black pressings. These blow them all out of the water. So if you're a Death fan, you really should get these while they're still available, because everything that they've been releasing over the last couple years from Death has been limited runs. I think that's the black vinyl is 1,500 or 2,000 copies only. And then speaking of repress, it's just another. I mean, this album has always gone under the radar. I'm starting to see it become more popular over the last couple years, and I'm really glad, because this album is just a thrash classic. But we've got Eternal Nightmare from Violence. And unfortunately, the news came out yesterday or the day before that the singer, it looks like he's not going to be around for much longer. He's got stage 4 cirrhosis of the liver. I've heard it reported as cancer, but from what I heard, his manager, their manager released it with stage 4 cirrhosis. I don't know if he's a drinker or what, but this is the newest reissue from Wax Maniacs. So Wax Maniacs, this was the first thing that they reissued a few years ago, maybe 2 years ago, and this was how I found out about Wax Maniacs. And unfortunately, by the time I did find out, these were sold out. They had done 3 runs of these already. One of them was a hand screen printed run that looks absolutely phenomenal that I'd love to get a copy of. But they went ahead and they had so many requests that they decided to press this one more time. And it's only a pressing of 100. So I would check their website. When I checked a few days ago, they still had a couple available. But it's on this light blue vinyl with red splatter. And it just sounds amazing. I'm really happy to finally have this on vinyl. I have it on cassette, but man, this just blows it out of the water. And the cool thing about this is that it's also got their demos. So you've got 4 demos on here: Eternal Nightmare, Paraplegic, Bodies on Bodies, and Kill on Command. They did a great job with the packaging here, and if you can get a copy of this, definitely do it. Like I said, we're going to keep this one short. Last but not least, this is one, had I not found it at 2nd and Charles, I think I paid $12. I probably wouldn't have bought it, and I really would have been missing out, because this is a great album. I was a huge fan of Suicidal back in the late 80s and early 90s. And I want to say, can't remember if it was Lights, Camera, Revolution or the album after that. And I can't remember what the album after that was. But I kind of lost interest. A lot of that had to do with Robert Trujillo. I was a real big Robert Trujillo fan. He ended up leaving the band. And I had heard a couple of things after that on MTV or wherever, and I just wasn't feeling it. So I pretty much ignored everything that Suicidal's put out since the early 90s. So I went ahead and grabbed this because they had it for $9.50. And then I was looking, I didn't realize Dave Lombardo was on here. Had I known that, I would have bought it too. I'm a huge Dave Lombardo fan. But this is just a killer album. And this is just Suicidal doing what they do best. Got killer artwork. And again, this is another one, if you like early Suicidal tendencies, if you like crossover thrash, one I would definitely grab. And then there's the, oh, got that upside down. And it's on this blue vinyl. I don't know if it was released on any other colors, if it was black vinyl, but like I said, I paid under $10 for it. Great buy. And it's a really killer album. Again, one I definitely recommend picking up. So, that's it, guys. Keep this one really short. I'll have some more stuff to show soon. Take care, VC.